Technical difficulties. We have new equipment, and
A
they're
call.
working out the
We're
kinks.
about to start recording.
But can you please get your realtor off the phone?
Okay.
You just saw live
that's
Flor making money live.
horrible.
Dang,
That's
that's terrible.
That's terrible. I'm working, dude.
Hey, she's making money live, you know.
Pobre señor was like,
No, I don't want Flor to be giving our sales techniques on live TV.
You're right.
Or live YouTube.
Giovanni's claiming now
My sales
my
techniques?
sales techniques.
Whatever.
Yes.
Those are not your sales techniques,
You got to learn from somebody.
right?
My mom taught me how to sell whenever I was 6 years old. I used to help her
That
sell
rancho?
cheese.
Sell goats.
Queso.
Quesos.
Quesos, vacas, dude, todo lo que mi mamá se le atravesaba. Mi mamá decía, si lo traes, véndelo.
Wow.
Okay, guys, we are live. Let's go. It works. Make sure our sound is good, Jules.
We got a sense.
Yeah, sounds working.
Sounds good.
Actually sounds a little blown out, but that's okay. All right, guys. So hope y'all had a great week. We actually have new equipment here in the office, so if we're a little off, it's because of that. We spent all day today trying to get this together for you guys. We have some pretty cool topics. Hopefully, y'all enjoy the new quality of the cameras. I do. I'm loving the way that I look. You're gonna like the way that you look with these new cameras. Trust me, right? So let's jump right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. Again, we do have a house full of Lionsgate Realty. You know me, your gracious host, Giovanni Frank, Lionsgate Realty. Go ahead and start off with Itzi.
Hi, my name is Itzia. I'm a agent here with Lionsgate Realty. You can find me at It's the Realtor on Instagram.
I'm Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty as well. I do Farm and Ranch, and I am the Spanish podcast host. You can find me at Flor Velasquez Realtor in all my social media.
I'm Nate Valderas. I'm a broker for Lionsgate Realty, master broker. You can find me at Better Call Nate.
And thank you, Giovanni, for having me back. So I'm Jerry Rodarte, another agent at Lionsgate Realty, and your go-to realtor for your off-market properties. And find me at Jerry HCX Realtor on all social platforms.
Awesome, guys. So we're gonna jump right into it. As if she hasn't made enough headlines for all of last year, especially with her new relationship. But I don't want to dive into that. This is not a gossip channel, right? This is about business, real estate, right? So we're going to jump into it. And I want to talk about the branding side of what she's doing. Not only is she getting thousands and millions of eyes on her, right? We're talking about Taylor Swift right now, but she's affecting the economy. It's like $8 billion is what they say is what from what she's done to go to different places here in the U.S. that it has affected the economy that much. So there's been $8 billion pumped into the economy because of what she's doing with her concerts, because of her branding. Not just that, the amount of people that she's brought in to just watch the NFL is ridiculous. Like it's a whole nother ball game. And they're even trying to leverage her for politics too, right? They're trying to get an endorsement out of her, whoever gets one. So her brand, from the way that she's built it, it's so great that it affects the economy, it affects her personal life, and it could even affect the presidential election, which to me that's nuts, right? So you guys, who we're in our own business here, we all own private business owners here, even though we do work through a brokerage, right? But the way that you manage your personal branding has a lot to do with how you want to be seen with the public. So what do you guys think about branding, and how would you go about it personally?
Personally, it's just about your image, just her image that she's, portraying to everybody else. It's everybody loves that image of her. So that's why she's tapping into the NFL, and where more women and more, little girls, or somebody told me Swifties, that they're connecting more with the NFL. So her branding's just, bringing a lot more people together, more things together. So yeah, so it's all about your brand, your image, and if you have a good image, then people are gonna like you.
I really don't know much about her. Essentially, everything that I hear about her is really not that good. But I hear you can't talk bad about her because then like a whole bunch of little girls are start.
It's not only little girls.
Yeah,
Really?
she's
grown
a
women.
what do you say, intergenerational artist.
Really?
Yeah.
I hear it's her and Beyonce. You can't say nothing negative about them or.
But you know what?
Beat
She
up.
got a leg up on Beyonce because she's gotten 6 albums of the year. I don't think Beyonce has one. from the
Damn,
Grammys.
bro, take it
Well, I think
easy,
she has
bro.
six.
They're gonna
That's
cancel.
why Jay-Z was so upset.
They're gonna cancel my
Right.
podcast, bro.
I'm just saying, yeah, so they can cancel yours. Mine will still be going. I don't know where yours is at. It's okay. But okay, so let's bring it back to that, right? Even if we're going down that route, what have you heard that's bad about Taylor Swift? So we can kind of focus on versus what's all the good that she's been doing, or at least that it's seen as something good that she's been doing. You said that you've heard a lot of bad stuff about her, right?
I just heard
What
bad
is it?
stuff.
Like what?
I mean, I like gossip. I guess I don't know. Nothing like.
Like what?
So they're saying
Yeah, like
that,
what? That's what I'm saying. Like
that
what?
she's taking all the attention away from the
I don't
NFL.
know.
She's ruining football, because all her attention is on her. But of course, like I said, she's bringing a different audience. She's making more money
But
for
the
the
NFL's
NFL.
loving it because
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's
that's to me. That's
it's just
that's,
haters. on her,
yeah, to me, that's a, I'm not. I mean, I am a Taylor Swift stan, right? But all I'm saying is, like, to me, that's America for you. It's American football, right? Like you've always, when you were back in high school, even like the main football players, right? Whenever the girls would be in the stands cheering, like that's just it's part of the game. Now it's just on a bigger scale.
Oh yeah.
Before, like nobody really paid attention to the wives or the girlfriends of the players, and now they're doing that. It's not just her anymore, right? It's Mahomes' wife, and then this
Who?
Mahomes, not Mahone. I know they heard Mahomes' wife, and then
I don't watch sports.
that other lady, right? The one who's now she's able to put the NFL branding on her clothing for women, which I'm pretty sure that's going a long way. And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure this all has to do with Taylor Swift.
But
Like, she
Mahomes' wife
affected
doesn't
all of
even
this.
have
Oh, yeah.
like the audience. She has basically like nothing compared to what Taylor Swift has. Like it's their character is like so different.
Mm.
I feel like Taylor Swift a lot of times she put herself like in front of the crowd, like for the crowd, and this other girl I feel like she's I don't know more.
For the people.
No, like she's I
More
think,
about them.
yes, yeah, more about them.
Gotcha. Well, the way that I see it, right, is like Taylor Swift has always sold, from what I've seen and what I've listened to in her music, is like that high school dream, right?
Yes,
And it seems like for 15 years, for however long she's been in music, she's been selling that same dream, and now it's just perfect. I mean, imagine if she marries like one of the top football players and has the kids, like it's the fairy tale that she's been talking about in all her music, right? So it all comes back to it, and she's been focused on her branding from the very beginning. So I don't want to continue to talk about Taylor Swift. How do you think that should apply to your personal branding, and how can you move forward, and especially now the way Instagram is and social media is in general?
I mean, the branding is everything for any business. Either it'll build you or it'll basically like throw you down. Like if there's another profession, if we don't stay up to the standards, I mean, our clients, really gonna come to you. They're gonna really want to work with you because like maybe you're not presenting yourself the way you should. And I say this because I just met with a client Saturday, and they reached out to me through TikTok, social media, and we had a meeting with the lender. My client said, or the lender asked him, so how do you find her? He said social media, and he was like, really, why her? Like, I was working with an agent before. That agent and the meetings that we had, she had marks on her neck and that they were not tattoos, and she was not even dressed professional
She had
to the
hickeys?
showings. Yes, she had hickeys,
Oof.
and she was not even dressed professional to the showings. And I'm serious, I'm in the market because I'm trying to buy. I'm looking for somebody that is the same serious.
professional, yeah.
Yes. So that's what he said. I was like, well, that just speaks,
Volumes.
yes, on the type of people that you're trying to get. And he's not like a $200,000 client. So imagine if there's somebody in the market looking for something, and they come across an agent that is
Exactly, and I'm grateful that you brought that point up, right? Because I actually had just finished talking to a client that they're like in the 350 to 400 inside here, the inner loop, which I mean, that's not much for the inner loop, but it's still pretty good, pretty good amount. And I was talking to them, and he was referred to me, and I was like, well, why'd you end up going with me? Because he does some electrical work. He's actually a licensed electrician, and he works with realtors. Sometimes he'll do repairs for the realtors, their clients. And I was like, well, why did you reach out to me? He's like, oh, well, the person that you had sold a house to before, they speak very highly of you. Anytime that I brought up that I was looking at houses, it would always tell me about you every single time. And this is like a 6 to 8 month process before he was even ready to start looking right now. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So your branding goes farther beyond what you're putting out there on your social media. It also goes out to what people are talking about you and what they're saying about your clients, what they're saying about the amount of work that you put in.
So what do you think about when you're a broker, you have your own branding, you have your own company and everything, right? And when you hire realtors, you want your realtors to brand your company, right?
Right.
And the reason that you want them to brand your company is because the whole reason that you come together, as realtors under a brokerage, right, is to make that broker and make that brand grow, make it big, make it a powerhouse. Everybody helping everybody, right?
Right.
Now, a lot of times you have these realtors that want to brand themselves. Okay. I don't have a problem with you branding yourself, right? With Flor Velasquez, right? Realtor, right? Mm-hmm. But what do you think about these realtors running around, right? That are with different brokerages, and then they have like their own name, right? Like such and such realty and such realty team and such whatever. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, for one, right? Legally, I don't think you can do that. I think it's almost illegal for you to do that, right? Because unless your broker signs off on you having a team, you can't label yourself as a team or even have a different logo. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you're not supposed to do that. Now, what I think you're really asking me is how do I feel about the realtor branding themselves versus constantly pushing the company, right? So I think this goes back to what people used to think would actually work back in the days, right? Back in the days, it was important that you pushed your record label, right? Let's say if you were in the music industry, all the rappers shouting out the record labels, within the rap songs. Why? Because it meant something. It was very important who you were with because that actually showed what kind of person you were.
Yeah, credibility.
Right? Exactly, it's credibility, right? It's who was everybody with Def Jam, right? It showed who was everybody who was with Puff, right? So that's the same mentality that I think like older people in this market, like older brokers, they feel that the realtor should constantly push their branding of the company when it actually does a lot more for the brokerage, for the realtor to create their own personal branding. And it shows a lot more to the fact that they decided to stay with that broker versus pushing this broker nonstop and you have nothing to show for it. And you're constantly pushing it. The people don't connect with you because it's a brand that they're not with. People connect with you, not with your broker.
Yeah.
Right. So real estate is different. And I think it's changed. I think back in the days, same reason why like Keller Williams, it doesn't work just because you go with Keller Williams doesn't mean you're going to get all the clients. Right. These big brokers, these big names, or if a smaller broker is trying to treat their realtors the way that a big broker does, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't work that way. Right. Unless it's a realtor who already has a massive following and they're bringing a whole following with them, a brand that they already have, and now they partnered up with a broker, and now it's both of them together. That's different. Like let's say, for example, like a Ryan Serhant comes to Houston and wants to build a Lionsgate Realty. Both of you branding together is different, but a newer realtor who has like their own following, their own people, their own area, you want them to promote themselves out there and they be the star, and then everybody's like, oh, well, they're with Lionsgate Realty. Well, why are they with Lionsgate Realty? They have such a big of a following. Why wouldn't they go anywhere else?
Yeah.
So that's the way that I see it.
And that was my point, right? I don't mind realtors branding themselves, branding their names. I mean, even if you want to have your own company crest, right, or your family crest, or your own little icon or whatever if you want to, right? I don't have a problem with that. But Vic does, so don't do it. But I don't have a problem with it because I really don't care. The thing about it is that I don't like all these real estate companies, right? They have their own real estate company, they have their own branding, and then they have a realtor under them that's branding a whole different logo, a whole different everything, which, like you said, it is illegal. You're not supposed to be doing it. Or not, not illegal. You got to get the sign off. Yeah, you can't. You're not supposed to do it. There's some guidelines that you have to follow that people don't follow. And the thing about it is that you're essentially undermining your own brokerage, your own your own career, really, because when you're with a broker and you're branding yourself, right? I'm such and such, with such and such brokerage, right? You're helping that broker be stronger, be bigger, and helps you get to where you need to be at. In other words, when you brand yourself, it's like being in a boat. You're in a well, let me rephrase that. You're in a ship, right? What is the point of you, being dragged on the side of that ship in a lifeboat?
Instead of being on the ship.
Instead of being on the ship, that lifeboat is never going to amount to the ship that you're riding next to until you let go. And when you let go, you're starting a whole new company on your own and trying to get to that level that your broker is. But you're never going to get to any kind of level, trying to brand yourself or trying to make your own logos and trying to make your own,
And you know what? It goes back to your point that you're saying right now, right? I think the problem here is that you have two views, right? You have the brokers who are already in place who are trying to grow, and they're like, well, why aren't you helping me, brand, to continue to grow so we can all eat? And then you have the individual agent who's trying to grow, and they're trying to compete with their broker when they don't understand you're not the broker.
No,
brand yourself as the person for the people who want
Yes.
to work with you. Your company is along with you. They're the one looking out for you, right? So whenever you have an event, you're there. Any of the prices that you get, you share them. It's all company branding. But what's the point of you being with a Keller Williams and never showing anything about that you're with Keller Williams or with a boutique builder?
So
It doesn't make any sense. There has to be a happy medium.
yeah. So the thing is this: Keller Williams doesn't really care if you brand yourself or if you do any of that stuff. They and I wouldn't either. If you were paying me yearly fees, if you were paying me desk fees, if you were paying me, what's called technology fees, if you were paying me all those things, I would let you build your little company, within my company, right? But that's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is, I'm giving you a home. I'm giving you a place to build yourself as a brand under Lionsgate Realty. And I'm essentially showing you how to do this from the ground up. I'm not exploiting, your talent. A lot of times, there's some realtors out there, okay, making a lot of money, and you look at what they're doing. They're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Okay,
Consistency.
that's all they're doing, and so they're selling homes, right? Do they understand contracts? No. Do they understand do they understand investments? No. Do they understand property management? No. Do they understand anything other than knocking on the door or doing a video and finding a person who wants to buy a home and just pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over?
One-trick pony.
They don't. It's a one-trick pony, just like you said. And the thing about it is that, and it's funny because you see like some of these guys, they're so successful, making so much money, right? And then you see them, they give speeches, right? And the things that they say is like, what are you talking about? It just shows how mature. Sometimes I even feel sorry for them. I'm like, oh my God, these guys, they're just being used and thrown out there, and these big companies don't care. They're getting all their fees, and they're getting people joining the company because everybody thinks that they're going to be as successful as that one freaking real estate agent, and it just doesn't happen.
But whose fault is that? Whose fault is it?
Honestly, it's the brokers. Well, you know what?
No, it's not. It's not the broker. It's not the broker's fault. It's not the superstar's fault. It's the person who wants to come into real estate and they want it to be easy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that dude's a superstar. He does a few videos and he's blown up. You don't see the back end of what it took for him to build that.
Exactly.
It
But
took
they-
a long time for them to build that, and now you're just trying to come in and copy exactly what they're doing. It's not going to work.
But
Yep.
they see that, I feel like out of agents that are like too full of themselves, that are just, wanting to have like the cloud, everything on them, and they're not really, showing that it's not an easy process.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Who was it? Who'd you say it was? Oh, I'm just
Where's that guy?
Agents
Where's that girl? Where's that guy? That girl?
or-
Who's that?
Who is it?
No, but just
They-
going back with what Florida was saying is like, identifying as your own brand. Like she's part of Lionsgate Realty, but her brand is Land and Ranch. And basically people are going to go with her because that's, who they like or who they kind of connect with.
Yeah.
So also with that is like they see her online and, I like the way she does, but would it be different that she's all, suited up and online, but then when they meet her, she goes in with her sweatpants on and just tennis shoes on and they're not what expected, So she keeps that consistency of her brand, connected. So they see her in person and, oh yeah, she's just the way she is in social media. So, big ups to, just doing your brand and, following it and just not an image.
And I think it is a major disservice for anybody to come into this business and think that they're going to be able to emulate the top producing agent, whatever it may be, whether they're cold calling, letter writing, doing social media, doing YouTube. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Building connections, selling luxury, which is the one that I hate the most. I get people who come in here and they're like, "Oh, I want to sell luxury real estate." I'm like, first of all, you don't come from a background of luxury. Not that you can't work your way into it, but what do you know?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No, to be serious though,
Yeah.
what do you know about luxury? Have you ever talked to somebody who has $1 million plus,
Mhm.
who makes money? Like, have you ever talked? Can you hold a conversation with that person?
So that's actually true.
Not saying you can't work your way up there. I've
Not that
never
you can't
said
work your
that.
way up, but yeah,
But you're not going to start there.
a luxury person, yeah, very seldom. I've maybe had 2 people that have come into this business and have sold luxury homes, have sold 1.5 million his first deal.
But they come from that
But
background.
they come from that background.
have those
His-
connections.
Yeah, his father owns a $1.5 million home, and so and a lot of people don't understand that. They want to come here and say, "I want to sell luxury. I want to do commercial." And I'm like, look, commercial's not that lucrative. Where you're gonna start from the ground up in commercial is gonna be dirt work. It's gonna be working with people that don't understand. They probably understand less about commercial than you. And it's tough. It's really tough. Florida, you've done a few of those deals, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is that, Vic actually, he's really good because he does all the interviews and he asks people, right? When he's interviewing, he tells the realtors, he's like, hey, what are you expecting to make here? What are you trying to do? What are you this? What are you that? Oh, right away, right? And I think it's just an Instagram, right? Oh, I want to make 100,000. I want to make 200,000. I want to make $500,000 a year. I already, I this and that and the other. And so then Vic says, okay, so what do you do now? And they're like, oh yeah, man, I work at, at Office Depot, or I work at, I'm a 2-room guy at Chevron or whatever, and you're like, okay, so essentially you make, 30 grand a year, right? And he's like, yeah, so that's probably what you're going to make coming into this business, and people get upset. People are like, oh, well, why, why do you say that? You're saying like, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. No, it's just a person that already makes 100,000 a year, wherever he's at, has a certain work ethic, has a certain, goal already, has an expectation of his life, and so when he comes into this business, he tries to figure it out so that he makes sure that he makes that type of money. So it never fails. People that come in that are making 100,000 a year, 150,000 a year, they usually come in and almost make that. Sometimes they make 80, sometimes they make 100. Just depends, right? And then the people that are making 20,000 a year, making 15,000 a year, whatever, they don't hit the mark, right? And those are usually the people that'll make a $7,000 commission, $8,000 commission, and then the next month they're in freaking they're on a cruise, or they're in at Disney World, So it just
Imagine when I make a sale.
yeah, it's different.
When
Yeah.
I make a sale.
It's a
we weren't
different-
talking
yeah.
about you.
We weren't talking about you. I'm just saying it's just a different person, It's a
But
different,
you don't think that the agents not brand well, a lot of agents not branding off like their brokerage.
Mhm.
It's coming from the part that the agent doesn't correlate with like the mission of the brokerage
Yes.
that they're at.
I agree with that. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
I don't even think these realtors understand what a mission statement is.
don't.
It's not that they don't align with the statement. It's that they want to be the boss.
Yeah.
You can't come into a new industry and want to be the boss day one.
Yeah.
They send a statement. They don't know what a mission statement is. in
That's a
Goes
general.
back to what
that's
he
a
always
generation.
says.
That's a generation.
It is.
Issue.
It is.
Not. But go ahead. Sorry, what you saying?
No, I feel like it goes back to like what you say, like pretty much like the basics, like humbling yourself, like
Mhm.
learning the
Exactly.
business, like like asking questions.
You know what? It's funny because me and Nate actually always have this discussion, right? Because Nate always tells me, like, I don't wear my gear. I wear my gear when it's appropriate. I don't wear it out and about like
We do.
I do.
You don't wear it here.
I have a conversation after this.
Even though
Out
it's
and
made,
about,
even though it's made more
like,
money.
whenever I
than
go to
ever
the
in his
gym,
life.
I have my shirts on every now and again.
But it's also, I feel like you wear because you're, you have pride of your company, who
Because
you're
you
with,
believe
and your
in it.
culture. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if it's like
Exactly.
any other company that, corporate company, they don't care about you, you're just a number, you're just an employee, then of course you're not really.
Giovanni has Giovanni has made the most money he's ever made in his life with Lionsgate Realty, and he
Yeah.
won't even wear a hat. That's
I still wear my Exxon hat. Yeah.
See?
He wears a lion. He
Yeah,
wears a
my
lion
Lionsgate
skin at
Realty
least.
hat.
It's nostalgic. It's nostalgic.
Drink
to him.
out of my
Giovanni
STD
the
cup.
realtor.
Yeah.
So, no. Wait,
Go
this,
ahead,
this,
go ahead.
and I might be being biased, right? Because I thought I invented or I came up with Lionsgate Realty, and it's my baby, and I've been nurturing it and putting it together. And so I feel like, hey, you know what? I'm bringing you in. I'm bringing you into my to my circle.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you how to make money in real estate, right? You should be proud of being with us. You should be proud. You should be wearing your gear. I take pride in you. How many times have I gotten after you, bro? Or how many times, all of you, how many times I got after you? I say, hey, you know what, man, what's going on? Why are your numbers slow? Why is this? Why is that? Hey, get out there. Let's get it. Like I'm not here just waiting for my monthly fees or waiting for my dues. And and it sucks, because people, oh yeah, I have people say, oh yeah, you just want commission. That's why you're pushing me. I said, look.
You want to see everybody
I
grow.
said, look, let me tell you something real quick.
Who says? I want to know who said that.
We'll give you a list after.
I'll give you a list of some of the people. Most of them are not even with us anymore. But they're like, you want to make commission? I go, I want to make my small draw my small cut that I make from you after I invested in you.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, each one of my realtors costs me money because of everything that I hook you up with, right? That I set you up with, not hook you up, set you up with, right? And so if it takes you 6 months to make money, I'm 6 months out of money. And so when you hit your first, and usually your first commission, your first commission that you make in our split, I'm just probably making back what I invested in you. And a lot of times too, like, I invest in realtors. A realtor comes to me and says, hey, you know what? I think this is what's going to be the next thing. I think this is what we should do. I think this is what's going to make me money. Okay, how much is it? It's this much. Okay, I'm going to put into it. And whenever you get your commissions, I'll get my money back. And I'll invest into it and it doesn't work, But trial and error, there's some, and we've actually done some things that do work and we still use them, So it's an investment for us. We're growing. Our company is growing and our realtors grow with the company.
And I can vouch for that, definitely.
We like that.
I can
like
vouch for that definitely because, opening up that acquisitions team and acquisition department, of course, it's going to take, time and, trial and error, or we're going to be doing. But of course, that's what we like, that we have the backing of Lionsgate Realty, Nate, Vic, and they're always giving us advice and feedback. And that's what we love, and that's what makes me proud of being on this team, Lionsgate Realty.
I think it all goes back to reciprocity, like you being proud of where you're at and, your team putting your name out there too. Like, I feel like not a lot, like all the time nowadays, like other agents, they're like, again, too full of themselves that they cannot accept that, hey, he has my back, like my broker has my back and I am where I am. I was able to make this amount of money this year because somebody is behind me. Like, I'm not doing this by myself.
They just forget what they come from. Like,
Yeah, and that's why I always give a shout out to Giovanni and Jennifer, and always grateful for always the backing that we always have. So,
but a lot of times too, right? Like, you see these realtors who have that attitude, their broker or their team or their manager has the same attitude. That's why they align with them. That's why they
true.
stay there, because they have the same personality. And they all you hear stories all the time, right? Nobody in that brokerage likes each other. They're all doing stuff behind their backs,
Yeah.
but yet they're all still there, right? Hyping each other up, like if they're doing numbers and nobody's actually doing numbers, right? But you come over here, ET got a taste of it earlier today. Like, you come over here, you're gonna get dogged for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make sure, you're gonna make sure that you make it. That you're gonna be making your money. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Definitely.
how many times have we told you, like, we've gotten after you before we tell you good job? There's a lot more getting after you, and then you get your good job, but then you also get your Realtor of the Year award.
Yeah.
It's different over here.
Tell
We're not hyping each other up. Like, it's almost like you can never really do enough I know it sounds bad, but maybe it's because we're Hispanic
At
here.
the end
can
of
see
the
your
day, that's
potential.
what
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
you always have makes you grow. Like
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
have that person that is always, oh yeah, good job, you're doing great. I mean, really, are you doing great, or do you have that person that is just cheering you on because they want to be cool and they want to be positive? I mean,
So that's one of the things that I really struggle with. I really struggle with people who want to be positive all the time, and it's so funny because there's a realtor that I know, and I'm like, that I was trying to I was trying to recruit her. I've known her for years. She's been in business for many years, and she's always with that same thing. Like, oh no, you're too negative. You're too negative. You're too this. I said, how am I negative? Because I'm telling the truth, because I'm saying this, or because I'm saying that. There's people that don't want to come into the podcast because they feel like I'm gonna dog them or I'm gonna burn them, and I'm like, no, not at all. And I've had people come on to the podcast and they're like, oh man, I thought you were gonna say this, I thought you were gonna embarrass me, I thought you were gonna dig on me. I said, what are you talking about? Oh, because you dig on such and such, or you mess with such and such. And I said, I mess with Giovanni, we mess with each other, we make fun of each other, we play, but I said it's really all really it's positive. We really help each other. We really lean on each other for our success. And it's not always positive. It's not.
I feel like
It's
this
not.
question is for you. How do you feel as of like what you built so far? Like, how do you feel?
What do you mean?
Like, like to build all this, like, how do you feel like as yourself? Like, do you feel accomplished, or you feel like you're still going, like,
I
we can
feel-
still
I-
grow, like, even more?
I feel like I'm not done, honestly. Once again, I didn't start my brokerage to and this was one of the biggest thing when I started my brokerage. A lot of people were like, oh, I want to get my brokerage because I want to make all my commission. And I was like, okay, I mean, you could do that at 100% commission place, because if you become a broker, you still have to pay for everything. Your trick, to do your license costs more, to get hard costs more, to get Arizona emissions costs more. So everything costs more, and not to mention that you're liable. Everything that happens, you're liable for it. If you need an attorney if you get into any kind of issues, And so I got into this business because, once again, I've said it before. When I started in this business, it was dominated by older women. Okay,
What kind of women?
Let me rephrase.
What kind of women?
Let me rephrase that. When I got into this business, okay, it was dominated by older white women. Okay, and they would not let you in. It was like the word Karen didn't exist at that time, right? Or the Karens, but they were Karens. Like
Karen's
literally,
Realty.
whenever you were trying to do a deal, it was like, oh my God, where did you learn how to do business? Oh my God. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. I said, no, it's negotiable. Like they were trying to set standards. It was really tough when I got into this business. Okay. So when I got into this business, it was hard. My broker was like on the other side of town, like south west side, like Boone Road and Bel Air. And because nobody wanted to sponsor me. It wasn't like now where everybody and their mother sponsor you, like there was an interview process. Like I interviewed with like 3 people, and I did the same mistake, right? I went to go talk to Remax, I went to go talk to Keller Williams, right? And they didn't want to hire me. They did not want to hire me, or at least that brokerage. I didn't understand the business at that time, right? So I just kind of went to the closest Remax, the closest, Keller Williams, So when I started working for a broker, right? I didn't understand that broker was also, growing, also didn't know what the hell he was doing, also was trying to get into his business, because it was a small brokerage, And so I kind of bounced around from broker to broker. I honestly, I was only sponsored by 3 brokers before I became a broker. Okay. And 2 of them didn't treat me very well. And they, it was crazy, I was paying them like, like 50% commission, 40% commission, stuff like that, And so the last broker that I was with, right, and he used to have a franchise. He had Texas Home Group Realtors, which I don't even know that brokerage even exists anymore, but it was called THG, right? And honestly, he put that brokerage on the map because his name was Bob Elliott. Awesome guy, old school guy, was in the business for a long time. And I came to him, and I had met him in an event, and I told him, hey, look, I want to be a broker, but I'm having trouble, people don't want to help me out. He said, come with me and I'll walk you through the process. And that dude literally schooled me up how to be a broker. And
Let
so
me ask you this.
Huh?
So whenever you were working as an agent,
Mhm.
how did you feel about branding yourself and branding the company that you work for?
So I was, you know, because you know, I come from that type of background, right? I was proud to be with my broker, and I would I would put his brand out there. I wanted to be part of his team. He didn't want to be part of you know, he didn't want me to be part of his team.
You were
Yeah.
grateful for the
I
opportunity.
was grateful for the opportunity. I wanted to be I wanted to make his brokerage be bigger than all the people that didn't want to hire me, you know? And he wasn't interested. All he was interested was making money and you know, being comfortable, you know? And so when I went to the next broker, I had so many issues with that broker. And you got to remember, right? Because you know, where I came from, I came from management. You know, I knew how to manage people. So I actually went in there and I said, hey, you know what? I said, I see what's going on here. I see your problems. Let me manage these people. And he said, yeah, you could be a manager. So I was running. I started making teams like the way I run my team here. I tried to do that with his brokerage. And you know what he did? He got so scared, right? And
That you were gonna take over?
that I was gonna take. Yeah, no, seriously. He went, and I'll throw his name out there. His name is Sebastian Ponce. Okay, Sebastian Ponce is his name.
That's fire.
All right. And you know what? I have nothing bad to say about the guy other than, you know, he didn't care. He didn't care. He, you know, he was scared of progress, you know? And so what ended up happening
He
was
okay with being okay.
he was okay with being okay, but I was making his company money. I was making his realtors produce. His realtors would go behind and complain about me to him because, you know, I used to run I was running a boiler room back there. I was like, hey, let's get on this. I had freaking stacks of freaking leads that I was getting from the builders. I was hustling, you know? And so then, you know, he just started getting too slow for me. And I told him, hey, you know what? I want to start a brokerage. You know, I want to be a broker. I said, I want to start a brokerage and I want to open up a different office under you. And you know, it'll be your company, right? And I'll have my office and, you know, we'll build it up. And so he was like, yeah, man, we can do that. We'll talk about it. So what he did immediately when he went to the trek and saw that I was doing all my classes already, what he did immediately was he did a meeting with everybody except for me. And told everybody that I was trying to be a broker and that anybody that was thinking about going with me, that he was going to pretty much fire them.
Wow.
And so then when he did that, that's whenever I went and I spoke with Bob, and Bob got me, you know, he pretty much said, hey, look, I'm going to help you out. And he literally had me under him only maybe less than a year before I became a broker and broke out and became my own broker, just started hiring and started going through my own trials and tribulations to get me to where I'm at now. And that was in 2007.
I feel like Nate needs his own docuseries.
I do.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we do have a few minutes left, and I want to do a quick speed round here of where you see the future of the real estate market going, at least for this year, because we're actually we're in February, right? And this is when the market actually starts to pick up a little bit. So what have you seen in your current market and what you're doing, right? So go ahead and start off with Jerry, and then we'll work our way down that way.
So on the investor side, I've started seeing a lot more movement. So we were there in January at the auctions. Not a lot of people. They're still getting out of that holiday funk. But yeah, this month it's it was a lot going on, and a lot of people from out of town were at the auction. So they're really a lot of out of town investors from New York and Tennessee and stuff like that. So they're really starting seeing this Houston market and Texas market. So it's moving.
Okay, Nate.
I see a lot of investors dumping their investments. So there's a lot of investments in the market right now. Commercial also there's a lot of commercial deals in the market. So that I see everything going towards investments and commercials for this year. As far as making money, right? Because even with the interest rates going up, and it's not just the interest rates that move the market. It's also who the president's going to be.
So you suggest going commercial?
I suggest that you
get somebody who
Do whatever
understands.
you
yeah,
know.
somebody who understands commercial.
So this year, honestly, I started off with more buyers than sellers. Last year, I feel like I had a lot of sellers. Funny enough, this year, people saying that nobody's buying. Well, I'm working with a few buyers. And out of those buyers, a lot of them are cash buyers. So the people that has the cash know that, we're going into the market where there's the time to get the cash out and buy properties at a good price.
It's more so sellers. Buyers. I feel like, people are like starting to do their taxes. Like he said, people are already getting off like the holiday funk. So,
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm seeing on my end, right, I'm starting to see a lot of buyers and sellers as well starting to get back into the market. More buyers right now, they're ready to go. Sellers are like kind of like interested, right? They're raising their flag. Yeah, should I not? They're asking, hey, would it even be worth me selling right now? Am I gonna have to sell my house $100,000 less? I'm like, first of all, I don't know where you're getting this news from, right? Your market is your market. Let's run some numbers, take a look at it. I'm gonna be realistic with you, is what I tell everybody. I just picked up an expired listing. She told me that the realtor that had her house on the market just let it sit there, priced at an overprice that she wanted originally, and he just left it on the market. Didn't get with her, didn't let her know, hey, how many people were viewing it, what kind of marketing was he doing? So she asked me those questions, right? I was talking with her on the phone. She said, well, what do you do to get the property sold? I was like, well, first of all, we price accordingly. That's my main thing. 9 times out of 10, if the house is priced way too high, I won't take the listing. And I'll let you know why. I'll let you know I won't take the listing. If it's too overpriced, it's very rare that I do. In special occasions, I do, because maybe the market's not there to where you have enough.
Who said Alan could leave?
I don't know. My boy had another emergency, right? But right, very very rare occasions that I'll go ahead and take the listing. And I told her, I was like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm gonna figure out your why, right? So she told me why she needed to sell, and like, I'm gonna use that why to help you sell this house. So we're gonna look at your goal and see how we need to price this house accordingly to what the market says. Every month, I'm gonna give you an update of what's going on in the market. I'll give you an update every week on what has gone pending, what has gone back on the market, what has dropped in price, and how many people are coming to view your property. I'm going to do my open houses. Like, my marketing is almost the minimum of it, right? Number one, what's most important is understanding the market itself. I could go out there and throw a $10,000 worth of ads behind your house, but if it's priced $50,000 over, it's not going to move, right? So my marketing is a bare minimum of it, pricing it accordingly. That's what we need to do. So sellers, they're starting to actually ask, hey, what can we do to get this sold? Not like before, hey, I want $20,000 over and I don't care.
Yeah.
Now they actually have some wiggle room and they're willing to play ball. So that's what I'm seeing with sellers. With buyers, they're a little bit more realistic, and they're also coming to the market. Hey, do you think we could ask a little bit for this? I'll give them what they're asking for, but I also want some concessions on my end. Last year, in the middle of last year, was $100,000 off and $20,000 in concessions. That's not happening, bro. Here in our market here in Houston, we've never had that big of a price cut anyways, right? Here, unless you're talking about $100 million house, then yes, $100,000 off isn't that big of a hit, right?
Yeah.
Compared to a $300,000 house. But that's what I'm seeing in my market.
What do you see? What do you see happening this year with real estate agents?
Oh, they're already bouncing. I'm waiting to get those numbers back from HAR. See who didn't pay their dues.
So am I.
I'm waiting to get those back.
I'm already seeing this. Okay, what you're gonna see is a lot of realtors. And I said this before, right? They're gonna start switching up to other industries, right? They're gonna start selling energy, selling insurance, etc. Right? But what you are gonna start seeing is you're gonna see a lot of realtors on vacation, right? And you know what they're doing on vacation? They're not having fun. They're contemplating, they're rethinking their life decisions. Okay, they're out there trying to get away from the struggle, they're out there trying to get away from just reality. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. You never see realtors vacationing in February.
No,
this is the start of the sales year. Yeah. Where are they? They're all vacationing. They're all in Paris, and they're still trying to front. They're still, oh look, I'm doing this,
exploring new ventures. Yeah.
But you can see it. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their quotes.
He's like the biggest little snake.
You can hear it in their voice.
Everyone is
there.
That's why I haven't been posting anything.
Yeah. You can see it in their quotes. You can see.
They don't talk with bravado no more.
And they're rethinking life, and honestly too, a lot of these real estate agents that we're doing all these crazy videos, they're stepping out of their comfort zone. The ones that because there's still some realtors that they want to stay in the business, and they're stepping out of their comfort zones, and their media is changing. They're doing different things. Unfortunately, it's just that saying, that they always say, right? It's better to appear stupid than to speak and remove all doubt, And unfortunately, that's what they're doing. They're at first it was just kind of like, hey, look, I'm driving a freaking, rented Ferrari, and I'm in front of a freaking house I just sold. And look at the closing, look at the champagne, look at that. But now they're trying, they're taking advice, and they're talking, and they're giving advice. They're like saying, yeah, if you want to buy a house, you got to get a lender approved. Like really, bro?
We didn't know that.
Working
Yeah,
in
tell me
for
something I
5
don't.
years,
And that's the advice you can give. That's the advice you can give is go get a pre-approval. Like that's
I'm like,
crazy,
okay,
right?
man.
So going back to the branding, I'm seeing a lot of people double down on branding because it's big right now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it wrong.
Mhm.
They don't understand.
Definitely.
Stop telling people you need a pre-approval. We all know this.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
seen that video 200-300 times prior to you posting it. Don't post that. What value are you bringing to the market?
I don't like it. I do not like giving advice to other real estate agents, right? Well, let me rephrase that. I like giving condescending advice, right? But when I give like real advice, my partner gets mad, right? He's like, my business partner says, no, don't be teaching these people. Don't be freaking, showing them stuff, but I don't care because I could teach you until I'm blue in the face and you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion, right? So, man, so the thing is this, I don't like giving other advice, but I will give this advice. I will give this advice and I will tell you, do not make a video and say, call me for all your real estate needs because it's the dumbest thing to ever say. Stick to something that because everybody if you look at realtors that are successful right now, right, on Instagram, they're successful at one thing. They're successful at listing properties, a lot of properties, right? They're successful at selling they're buyer's agent, just finding people and selling them, or they're successful at leases, or just different things. There's not one real estate agent, what I'm saying, that can, and including myself. I'm putting myself in that thing because there's not one real estate agent that can do every single aspect of real estate. Okay, now let me explain what that means, because I can do every single aspect of real estate, but if you call me for a lease, I'm gonna blow you off. And I'm gonna be like, oh man, I'm not interested. You know what? Here, call this guy. Yeah. if you call me for a listing, right? That's a $70,000 lot or a $50,000 lot, right? That you want to price, $10,000 over.
Yeah, no.
I'm probably not gonna mess with that property. If you're a buyer that wants to see 50 homes, I'm not the guy. I will. It's an injustice, and I don't even. And unfortunately, man, I feel so bad. Somebody called me yesterday. It was a referral from a family member, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to buy this house. I already saw it. It's $300,000." I'm like, okay. Let me give you a link. You get the. I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't. Let me send you the link. Get the approval, and I'll have one of my guys call you. Whatever, right? I get so many phone calls a day. I don't have the number. I forgot to send the link because I'm super busy, and it sucks. It's an injustice, and I shouldn't be doing those things, So if you're a real estate agent, stick to what you know. Market that, a snack that you have, that single thing that you do. Don't sit there and try to do property management, try to do leases, try to do sales, try to do listings, try to do commercial, come on, guy.
So real estate needs basically just anything.
Yeah. Huh?
Real estate needs, when they say get with me with your real estate needs, it's basically just vague of
Hey,
everything.
get with me for,
Yeah.
I'm gonna act with off market, whatever you need, I got it.
Mhm.
Hey, get with me. I'm the ranch lady or whatever. Now, if you call me because you like me, right, and you want to do a lease, call me. I'm gonna put you with the right person.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have team here.
Mhm.
We're a team. We all help each other. We give each other leads.
Yeah.
We don't. You know why? Because we know. We want to make this brand shine. We want to make this. We want to make Lionsgate Realty as a whole. Do all the the real estate needs. Not me. I really don't care to.
All right, guys. Well, we ran over about
Oh, my bad.
5 minutes over our time, so it's
Sorry, I
time
didn't let
Started
Itzia-
late.
I didn't let
You
Itzia
started
touch. She was-
No, you're
Oh, we just
No,
wanted
you're
to
okay.
say?
No, we're
Okay,
good.
okay.
So
cool.
Itzia used to work as a tool room girl, and she's really knowledgeable with they're called connexes at the refineries, but they're called containers out here to us.
Container homes.
So she actually was thinking about making container homes, and she's really knowledgeable container homes because she used to sleep in one before. So
Oh my god.
can you
Hey,
talk to
I
us
used
more
to
about?
take-
Can you
I
talk to
used
us
to
more
take-
about?
That's gonna
Can
be
you
for
talk to us more
another
about,
podcast.
I
oh,
used to take my lunch
sorry.
naps in there. And
Yeah,
it was really good.
we'll save that for another podcast, the Container Home podcast. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you
Container
exit.
homes are really nice. With
I'm
all
gonna
the
let you,
glass around
Itzy.
it.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and say your final words, and then we'll go from there because we're already running late. Okay.
container.
So go ahead.
All I can say is that we started late, so I deserve these.
That's
5
true.
minutes.
7:30. We started at
But
7:30.
anyways, we'll see y'all next Wednesday. You can follow me at It's the Realtor on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. This is Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty. You can follow me in all my social medias as Flor Velasquez Realtor. And I'm your ranch lady and your Spanish podcast host.
And I'm Nathan Malderas. You can find me in Better Call Nate in all my social medias. So just type in Better Call Nate. And also, I want to give a special thanks to Jaden. Jaden really did. He did. He outdid himself with all this today. I mean, we literally had him standing right here on top of the chair, and I mean, big clap, Jaden, bro. Come on, man. He came
Unsung
through.
heroes out here.
Yeah,
Who did your piece of artwork in the back?
his wife
that's
actually
right.
did it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
his
beautiful.
wife. She's really good.
She's a great artist. Yes.
She's a
She
great
is.
artist. Yeah. So
Right there.
There you go.
we have him locked up in the back.
Jerry,
Sorry,
go ahead
guys.
and exit.
So I'm Jerry Rodarte with Lionsgate Realty, also your off-market agent. Just so if you're looking for off-market properties or investments, then we could hook you up from start to beginning. So thank you.
Awesome. Really hope you guys are enjoying the quality of the cameras and the quality of the sound. We do have a company that we hired to help us with this, Orchid Grove Media. You can follow them on Instagram. If you need help with setting up your podcast, I'm pretty sure they'll be more than happy to help you for the right price. I'm telling you, they do all of this, and they're actually managing the back end for it. Again, I'm Giovanni Frank, your local Houston realtor with Lionsgate Realty. This is HBR Houston Business and Real Estate, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Man, Orchid Grove made a